Folks, countrymen, countrywomen, welcome to the Danswers live only on YouTube. This episode, I'm going to try something a little different. This is only going on YouTube. So if I post this somewhere else and you're upset about that, I'm very sorry. This is only for the real heads on YouTube, people with firm political beliefs on either end of the spectrum, people who've been deeply indoctrinated by algorithms to the point where they surf and sift through hours and hours of people getting owned, people owning other people owning and then getting owned. And then eventually, after their minds have been melted and warped by several different algorithmic properties that have taken them to and fro, deeper and deeper down whatever political spectrum they are, when their brain is thoroughly cooked and fried and battered, then they come upon my channel. And that's what happened to you. I apologize for that on behalf of me and your family who has not seen you for years and years because you've decided that in between your shifts at Buca de Beppo, you're going to be a guy who watches YouTube live. And that's who I am too. When I get off of this, I will watch other people's YouTube lives. Not even the ones that get a lot of views. I'm not watching those gamers that make millions of dollars on tips alone. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to watch someone with a really bad connection somewhere in, I don't know, Muskogee. That's who I'll watch because that's who I am. I'm not in Muskogee. I'm in Los Angeles, beautiful Los Angeles, California. Just got back from San Diego. Was doing some shows down there. They were fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time. I liked being in the comedy club. I liked seeing the people, smelling the smells, looking around the green room saying there is no amenity here that I could possibly enjoy. And that's what it is sometimes. I was walking around with friends, going from place to place, and when you're hanging out with a group of people, you really realize who you are on the inside. Because a lot of the times you're by yourself. When you're by yourself, your self concept becomes warped. Sometimes for the best, sometimes for the worst. Sometimes we hang out with a group of people and we go, "Oh, I'm actually much funnier and more interesting than I thought I was." Right? Because that's what our brains do. They can sometimes play tricks on us and make us think that we're not worth anything, make us think that for some reason we don't have any value. I don't know why our brains do that. I would like to know. I would like to know, and can I say this? I'd like to know why our brains do that. Because it doesn't seem to help evolutionarily at any point. I can't see in our development when we were hunting and fastening tools why it was pertinent for our evolution to also hate the way that our faces and bodies look. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure someone smarter than me could explain that. But I really don't know why evolutionarily it seems as though we are designed to listen to the sound of our voice and want to jump off of a very tall building. I don't know why. I don't know how that helps us survive, but hey, I'm not going to question the almighty here. That's not what this podcast is about. So, when you hang out with a group of people, you either realize you're more interesting than you thought you were, or the opposite happens, where you realize, "Oh, I'm a guy who yells." I'm a guy who yells when people are walking too slowly. Sometimes we realize that about ourselves. It's important to know that about ourselves. You don't learn that in solitude. You learn that on the hard streets of San Diego when you just finished a show and your friends are having a good time, but for some reason, you've just decided to keep an ungodly pace walking down the street. You've gotten it in your head that walking quickly is the most important thing you can do. So that's where I was in the weekend. It was fun. If you have any advice questions, you can let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep rambling about my weekend and maybe that'll be fun. What else happened? I came across there's a lot of restaurants down there. You see, a place like San Diego ain't like the city, ain't like the big city. Okay. I'm talking downtown San Diego's like a real city, but the surrounding parts, I'm talking Oceanside, I'm talking Escondido, right? There's a lot of land out there. And here's why I like that. I like places with a lot of land because you get interesting businesses, right? You get interesting business. You don't get businesses that are like, I don't know, the general store, the tire store, the uh the tire popping implement store, which have been banned in several provinces. I don't know if you know this, but tire popping implement stores are one of the failing industries of this country. But back in the day, back in the beautiful 1950s, where as every historian, scholar, person agrees were the perfect time in American history, nothing wrong happened during them. You could go into any establishment and buy an implement specifically designed to puncture the tire of an enemy. Those were good days. Those were strong days. And, the tire popping implement store has gone the way of the shoelace store. You don't see those anymore, do you? But I like a place like San Diego because the businesses they just try stuff out because they can do that. Values aren't quite as high as in the city, so they'll just be like, yeah, we're just gonna kind of open a bird themed restaurant. We're not gonna sell chicken. We're like a pro bird restaurant. You'll just see that in San Diego. It's the only place you can get that. Because you go to New York or Los Angeles, the businesses have to survive by either having good food or being the most annoying business in the entire world. It's funny how that is the case. It's funny how the only way you can get a business to survive, it's one of two ways in the city of Los Angeles. You can either have good quality food or be the most annoying restaurant known to man. And for some reason, being an annoying restaurant makes you so much more money than, say, a restaurant that is of good quality and has solid food. If you have a good quality, solid food restaurant, you're going to get completely just swamped, just completely manhandled money wise by a restaurant called the Water Lotus Lily. The Water Lotus Lily Health Good for You Spa restaurant. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why you're going to get completely destroyed money wise by a restaurant that's just called it's usually like two words like badger and hat or crane and pipe or big strong guy and little hat. Like those are the restaurant names. It's going to be a gastro pub. You're going to spend $500,000 on the craft beer that just tastes like you left a Bud Light out in the sun. And I like a lot of craft beers, but a lot of them stink. And I don't know why we give so much leniency to them. But you go to San Diego and it's like, yeah, we're not going to really have a thought out theme. We're not really going to have a theme at all. You know what we're going to have? We're going to have out here in San Diego. We're going to have a restaurant called the Crack Den. And is it a theme? It kind of is. It's kind of a theme. But all it basically means is they don't clean the floors and they have a really good burrito and you can survive out there with that. You can survive out there with only that in San Diego. Anyway, I hope this was fun for you guys. Thanks for tuning in.